Have you ever wondered why certain patterns repeat in your relationships? Or why some connections feel destined while others bring challenges that are hard to understand? Have you ever met someone and felt an instant connection, something almost indescribable? Or maybe you've been in a relationship so intense yet full of challenges that you found yourself questioning why everything felt so complicated. These feelings may have a much deeper meaning than it seems at first glance. Some relationships truly have an unexplainable intensity, as if you've known the person for a long time. This sensation may be deeply tied to karmas accumulated in past lives, and for this reason, understanding how karma influences relationships can bring clarity, hope, and most importantly, relief to your heart. The pains or joys you feel might be connected to something unresolved from before. In the context of relationships, karma can bring people into our lives who carry some connection to us, something that occurred in past experiences. These karmic connections are not coincidences. They happen to teach us, balance our energies, or, in some cases, challenge us to become better people. This doesn't mean you're paying for something or that you have to endure someone. In fact, these relationships are more like mirrors reflecting what needs to be worked on within us. For example, that relationship filled with highs and lows might be bringing up unresolved issues from past lives, such as the need to learn forgiveness, to stand up for yourself, or to practice patience. It's as if the universe is giving you a chance to resolve these matters in a way that helps you grow. Isn't it interesting to think that even the difficult moments might have a greater purpose than we initially imagine? But hold on. Not every intense relationship is a karmic one. Sometimes, the intensity comes from other factors, like compatibility or circumstances. What differentiates a common relationship from a karmic one is that in a karmic relationship, you have a strong sense that the person you're connecting with entered your life to teach you something essential, something that changes the way you see yourself and others. And when you learn these lessons, those cycles can be closed, making space for lighter and healthier connections. If you feel stuck in a repetitive pattern or that certain relationships are more complicated than they should be, it might be time to look within yourself. Not as a way to blame yourself, but to understand what this experience is trying to show you. Karma isn't a sentence. It's an opportunity for transformation. And that alone is a reason to believe that every connection has its purpose, even if it's hard to see at first. Karma acts as a reflection of our choices and patterns. Recognizing this isn't a reason to punish yourself, but an invitation to understand that these cycles can be broken through awareness and action. It's like opening your eyes to see a truth that sets you free. Have you noticed how it sometimes feels like you're experiencing the same problems in relationships, just with different people? It's as if you're stuck in a cycle. While uncomfortable, this type of pattern offers an opportunity to understand what's fueling these repetitions and, finally, to break free. Karmic patterns are like lessons left unlearned. When something remains unresolved, it tends to reappear until the message becomes clear. Imagine you struggle with trusting people. This block might be a reflection of past relationship experiences where trust was broken. Karma, then, brings up situations tied to that issue again, aiming to help you address and eventually overcome it. The first step to ending these patterns is identifying what they have in common. This requires honestly examining your relationships to notice what keeps repeating. Is it always a difficulty in communicating? A feeling of being undervalued? Or perhaps a tendency to attract emotionally unavailable people? By recognizing these traits, you start to understand what needs to be transformed. Another important point is observing how you contribute to these dynamics. This might feel uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Are you settling for less than you deserve? Closing yourself off out of fear of getting hurt? Or unknowingly creating barriers that prevent someone from getting close to you? It's not about blaming yourself, but about gaining awareness of what's within your control to change. What's most interesting is that by identifying these patterns, you not only improve your future relationships but also free yourself from an emotional weight that may have been holding you back for a long time. It's like opening the doors to a new phase, where connections are no longer based on old wounds but on a fresh perspective of yourself and what you truly want to build. This is what makes the process so powerful. Realizing that you have the power to transform your story the moment you decide to act differently. Not every partner who crosses your path is the love of your life, and not every relationship is meant to last. That can be hard to accept, especially when you're dealing with the end of a relationship that seemed so promising. However, karma teaches us that every person who enters our lives has a purpose, and often that purpose isn't about happily ever after, but about the lessons they bring. Each partner is, in a way, a teacher. And every relationship is a class about who we are, what we need to improve, or what we should value. Some connections come to teach us the importance of setting boundaries. Maybe you accepted less than you deserved at some point, and that relationship reflected it. Other times, the lesson is about vulnerability, learning to open up, trust, and show who you really are. These relationships don't come into your life to hurt you, but to show where attention and change are needed. The most fascinating part is that these lessons don't appear in obvious ways. Sometimes, you only realize what you learned after the relationship is over. That partner who seemed so complicated might have shown you something you'll never accept again in a new relationship. Or, on the contrary, they might have taught you that you're stronger than you thought. The important thing is to be willing to look at these experiences with honesty, without clinging to pain or guilt. Karma, in this context, isn't about punishment or reward but about balance. The people who enter our lives often reflect something within ourselves. And that can be uncomfortable because we're not always ready or willing to see the parts of us that need healing. However, it's precisely this dynamic that helps us grow and mature. It's not about changing the other person but about using the experience to understand what you can do differently. And here's a crucial point. You don't need to stay stuck in these lessons. Once you learn them, the cycle can be closed. This doesn't mean you won't face future challenges, but it does mean you'll be better prepared to build connections that truly align with what you want and need. Every conscious choice you make today shapes the type of relationship you'll attract tomorrow. And that's liberating because it puts the control back in your hands. So, instead of looking at past relationships with regret or frustration, try to see them as steps that brought you to where you are now. Every partner, every shared moment, contributed to the person you are today. And if you're willing to learn from these experiences, you can be certain that you're paving a lighter and more genuine path for what's to come. After all, what you plant in your connections now is what you'll reap in future relationships. Have you ever wondered why, in some relationships, it feels like you're constantly settling for less than you deserve? Often, this has less to do with the other person and more to do with how you see yourself. Self-esteem plays a crucial role in how karma operates in relationships. When you don't recognize your own value, you emit an energy that attracts connections, reinforcing that distorted view. It's as if the universe is holding up a mirror, showing you it's time to look within. Karma, in this sense, acts like a scale reflecting not only your actions but also how you treat yourself. If you constantly put yourself second, accept disrespect, or settle for relationships that don't nurture you, it's a sign you're perpetuating a negative karmic cycle. But here's the good news. This can be transformed. It all starts with a simple question. How are you treating yourself? When you choose to care for yourself, set boundaries, and prioritize what brings you well-being, karma responds positively to that energy. It's remarkable how the way we see ourselves directly impacts the kind of people we attract into our lives. If you believe you deserve love, respect, and reciprocity, you're likely to attract connections reflecting those values. This doesn't mean relationships will always be easy, but the dynamics will be much healthier. On the other hand, if you see yourself negatively or don't believe you deserve the best, the connections that arise usually reinforce those limiting beliefs. The first step to breaking this cycle is changing what you believe about yourself. Self-esteem isn't about being perfect, but about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer to someone you love. It's understanding that by taking care of yourself, you're building the foundation for more balanced relationships. And here lies the power of karma. When you choose to respect yourself, the universe responds with connections that honor this new energy. Small actions, like saying no to things that don't serve you or valuing your achievements, send clear signals that you're ready for more meaningful relationships. Another important point is that by improving your self-esteem, you also enhance the type of energy you bring to relationships. When you feel good about yourself, it's easier to act with empathy, patience, and generosity. This creates a positive cycle where both you and the other person can grow together. It's like planting a seed in fertile soil. What blooms is much stronger and healthier. Karma doesn't want you to just accept whatever comes your way, but encourages you to actively participate in creating connections that reflect what you truly deserve. The most powerful lesson karma teaches about self-esteem in relationships is that everything starts within you. The love you seek in others must first exist within yourself. When that happens, karma works in your favor, bringing not only better relationships but also a new way of living and seeing life. Many times, we accept less than we deserve in a relationship because we fail to see our own value. Explaining how karma is also tied to the way we treat ourselves can be transformative. When you change the energy you project about yourself, you begin to attract connections that truly respect and value who you are. The past doesn't have to define the future of your relationships. What happened, no matter how intense or painful, carries transformative potential when approached with the intention to learn and grow. Healing karma in relationships isn't about erasing past experiences, but about balancing the energies that have become misaligned. And this starts with something powerful: the choice to act consciously in the present moment. Forgiveness is one of the strongest pillars of this healing. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or minimizing what happened, but freeing yourself from the emotional weight that resentment carries. Holding on to grudges is like carrying a suitcase full of stones. It doesn't let you go far. When you decide to forgive, whether it's yourself for mistakes made or others for causing pain, you're truly letting go of that burden and making room for new possibilities. Another essential step is self-reflection. Asking yourself honestly what you can learn from each experience is key to transforming karma. Perhaps you realize you gave too much without receiving the same in return, or that out of fear, you avoided opening up fully. Identifying these points is like adjusting the rudder of a ship. Small changes in direction can lead to entirely new destinations. Meditation is also a great ally in this process. It helps quiet the mind and bring clarity, allowing you to connect with what truly matters. It doesn't have to be complicated. A few minutes a day are enough to create a state of calm and balance that reflects in all your connections. When you meditate, you're not only taking care of yourself but also planting seeds of harmony with the people you interact with. It's important to remember that healing karma doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that requires patience and consistency, but every step you take makes a difference. Even the smallest gestures, like a kind word or a sincere apology, have the power to create ripples of positive energy that spread. Over time, these small actions add up, transforming not only your connections but also how you feel about them. Ultimately, healing karma in relationships is proof that there's always hope. No matter how difficult your past experiences have been, you have the power to create something new and more balanced. Every choice made with intention and awareness today is an opportunity to rewrite the story of your connections. And that's the greatest gift you can give yourself. The chance to live relationships that reflect the love, respect, and harmony you truly deserve. Not every difficult relationship is about karma. This truth can bring relief. Sometimes, the challenges stem from a lack of alignment between you and the other person. Compatibility, or the lack of it, can be just as powerful a reason as any karmic influence for the ups and downs in a relationship. Understanding this helps separate what's a lesson to be learned from something that simply isn't working. Compatibility is about how you connect in daily life. Values, goals, communication styles, and even your views on what's important in a relationship. For instance, if one of you values stability while the other seeks freedom at all costs, that difference can create constant conflict. It's not necessarily because there's a karmic debt, but because your lifestyles aren't compatible. While karma brings experiences that challenge and teach, incompatibilities are often signs that the relationship might not be the best fit for you in the long run. This doesn't mean anyone is at fault. It's more a matter of fit. Two good hearts don't always create a good relationship. Sometimes, it's like trying to fit puzzle pieces that don't match. The intention is good, but the outcome never feels quite right. The most challenging part is distinguishing between what can be adjusted and what needs to be accepted. If you feel the difficulties stem from issues that can be worked on, like poor communication or harmful habits, there might be room to build something better. On the other hand, if the problems involve completely opposing values or priorities, it might be time to consider whether it's worth continuing. This reflection is essential because it puts the power to choose back in your hands. While we can't always control the challenges karma presents us, the question of compatibility is much more within our grasp. Honestly assessing what is and isn't working is an act of respect for yourself and the other person. Healthy relationships don't require anyone to sacrifice who they truly are to make things work. In the end, understanding the difference between karma and compatibility is freeing. It helps you stop constantly questioning what you did wrong and focus on what really matters, whether the connection is good for you or not. Some relationships aren't meant to last, and that's okay. Learning to let go is also a form of love, for the other person, but especially for yourself. Karma isn't a fixed destiny. The choices you make now can change the future of your relationships, and by acting with awareness, respect, and authenticity, you're planting seeds for more genuine connections. The key lies in the consciousness with which you act in the present. It all starts with how you communicate. Being honest about what you feel and expect, but always with respect, is a powerful gesture. Many times, conflicts arise not because the connection is bad, but because people are afraid to say what they really think. A sincere conversation can clear up misunderstandings and pave the way for a more transparent relationship. This doesn't mean speaking carelessly, but choosing words that convey truth without hurting the other person. Another important point is paying attention to the small actions. Simple gestures like actively listening, offering support during tough times, or showing gratitude build a strong foundation for any relationship. Sometimes, we're so focused on the big problems that we forget the strength of a connection lies in the details. A compliment, a hug at the right moment, or even remembering something important to the other person shows you're truly present. Acting with authenticity is also crucial. When you're true to yourself, you attract people who connect with who you really are. This avoids the strain of trying to be something that doesn't make sense just to please others. Relationships built on authenticity have a much better chance of growing in a healthy way because both people feel free to be themselves. Additionally, respecting boundaries, both yours and the other person's, is one of the greatest acts of care you can offer. This is where the wisdom of karma comes in. When you act by respecting the other person's space and ensuring your own space is preserved, you create a balanced energy that benefits the relationship. Respect isn't just about accepting differences, but valuing what each person uniquely brings to the connection. The present moment is where everything happens, and it's here that you have the power to plant the seeds for what you want to reap in the future. Every conscious action, every choice made with intention, is a step toward lighter, stronger, and more meaningful relationships. What you do today not only shapes your current connections but also defines the type of energy you'll attract moving forward. So, start now. Your relationship's future is literally in your hands. What karma truly teaches us is that every relationship, whether easy or not, is an opportunity for you to grow and become a better person. No matter how many mistakes you think you've made in the past or how many times your heart has been broken, there's always a chance to start fresh and build a relationship the way you want and deserve. The most powerful lesson karma brings is that you have the power to choose. Choose to act with love, choose to treat yourself with kindness, and most importantly, choose to learn from every experience. Because, in the end, it's not about finding the perfect partner but about having someone who deserves your love and shares life with you. If you feel something needs to change in your relationships, know that it's never too late to rewrite your story. Everything you plant now has the potential to flourish, and that's a message karma always leaves us with. What you do today can transform your tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed the video. Share it with others so they can also benefit from this message. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive our new content about spirituality. May God bless your life. See you soon.